Dunphy with Win Elliott at Madison Square Garden. We're here to bring you the heavyweight championship bout between champion Muhammad Ali and the challenger Zora Folley.
Training headquarters at Madison Square Garden, and the champion arrives. Floats like a butterfly, stings like a bee, but as you will notice, he responds to an audience. No champion in history has ever been as sensitive to the people around him. He's in shape. At this moment, as we saw him, about 211. Fighting weight, we presume, around 204 or 205. Others may determine his future in terms of the fights he fights. But we notice that the champion concentrates on the fight of the moment. Very concerned with his condition, dedicated to being in shape. Of course, speed is his forte, and that's what he works on in these workouts. Jimmy Ellis, his sparring mate. And how about this training routine? I asked the champ, you ever get tired of all the training?
It's a grind. Training is a grind. This is one reason I'm not hit. This is one reason no one can hit me, because I train hard and I do a lot of road work. I'm ranked as history's fastest heavyweight by all the boxing scientists.
And now the sparring session. He and Jimmy Ellis, who will be on the card earlier fighting Johnny Pearsall, grew up together in Louisville. They know one another. Ellis, as you will see, is fast in his own right. The champion, wearing the protective headgear and the abdominal protector, too, constantly works on his shiftiness, his speed, in and out, the float concept, and occasionally the sting. Neither one tries to hurt each other in this session, just sharpen up the speed, the reflexes. The champion who fights so constantly doesn't need the heavy whip. Just keep the edge honed. I suspect he intends to come in about 204, 205. On the toes, and you will notice, too, the way he just slips the punches. Angie Dundee, down at ringside, watched everything, and I asked him, is there going to be any change in the strategy for the fight with Foley?
Well, yes, there's got to be a big change, because this fellow's cut quick. You make a mistake and he makes you pay for it, and he can put you on the floor. So there's going to be a lot of change in strategy, and you'll see it in the coming fight.
Right. Thank you, Angelo Dundee. Finally, after the workout, we got a chance to talk to the champion himself. Champ, what do you anticipate from Foley?
Well, I'll know in a few minutes. I expect him to be a good boxer. I know he's punching good with both hands. He's hitting hard with both hands. He's not too fast on his feet, but he's clever and he's smart.
He has had a number of knockouts to his credit, and you've never really been tagged. Do you have any special defense for him?
Well, I've never really been tagged, and many people say they don't know what'll happen if I can take a punch or not. And I like to say to those people that I plan to never let you know if I can take a punch, because I never plan to be really hit. And the name of the game is hitting and not being hit, and I would like to retire, being the honest fighter that they could say that never got hit. But I'll be moving fast and building up points, and if I see a knockout, I'll try to get it.
In previous fights, some of them have been float, others have been sting. Are you trying to tell us this one is going to be punch?
Nope, I'm not a puncher. I don't hit too hard. I just keep my face smooth and dance and move fast and do all the hitting, but I never get hit. And then when I do hit, I don't hit that fast. But if a knockout do come, it could come. I knocked out Cleveland Williams, and I knocked out Archie Moore, and I knocked out Brian London, and some fall and some don't. In other words, different strokes for different folks.
When you step into the ring here at Madison Square Garden tonight, will you have any special feeling?
Well, this was my main goal, being a champion and fighting in the Garden, but I've excelled so greatly in sports until this is just another arena as far as I'm concerned. I've been on the satellites and Houston Astrodome. I've drawn the biggest crowds in fighting history. And I've taken boxing to countries such as Egypt and Sudan, Arabia, and Scotland and Holland, places that never followed boxing from this country. And the things that I have to my credit have become so great until this is just another event in here. But I do believe it will be a special occasion in a few minutes when the people in the Madison Square Garden see the Muhammad Ali come into the Garden. This is the first heavyweight title fight that's been in the Garden in 15 years, I think. And this is a big boost for the Garden.
As it must to all men, and as it eventually will happen to you, should you be defeated.
Retire tonight.
Unalterably, that is a decision.
Retire. I've said it once and I'll say it again.
Is there any contract for a return bout?
Never return clauses in my bouts. I'm a real fighting champion. I'm the first real fighting champion. No return clauses and giving every contender a chance to make some money.
Well, your last thoughts.
I'm just ready to go out. Tired of talking. Ready to go out and defend the title. Everybody's out here waiting, and I'm ready.
Thanks, Chad. And so that was the champion, a man of many moods.
Back to the president ringside, and that was the champion in his training quarters. And as you heard and saw, not much of the effervescence and bubble as we have come to expect from Muhammad Ali. And strangely enough, as he came into the weigh-in this afternoon, just a half a pound more than he was that very day, he was that same kind of, not exactly depressed, but that same even disposition, a little more determined and on the dour side. Well, how about the challenger? Zora Folley is an even quieter, more determined, more reserved man, as we will now see as we join and watch this training film.
Zora Folley, the challenger, been waiting an even dozen years for his chance at the biggest one of them all, the heavyweight championship of the world. He's got the talent. 8 kids home, that's incentive enough. And this is his big moment. If he's ever going to make the pot at the end of that rainbow, this is the chance for Zora Folley. Attending the training camp are folks from all walks of life, including the socially elite, like Rocky Graziano.
Thank you very much, Wayne. Thank
Rock, what do you think is going to happen in the fight?
you. Well, I think that Foley's going to give him a pretty good fight, but I think Clay will eventually knock him out. And it's going to be a real tough fight because this guy is not the bravest guy in the world, Foley, and he's a very cautious fighter, and he's a good right-hand puncher. And you may happen to see Clay on the floor, but I think that eventually, the 15 rounds, Clay will win.
And now the challenger, Zora Folley, as he prepares for his championship fight. Zora, what are your thoughts as you approach the big moment?
Well, I can think to myself, at last I'm getting a shot for the big one. I've been waiting around 10 or 12 years for it. It seems like I finally get my big chance.
Mm-hmm. There are some who have seen you fight who occasionally question well, they say you're a lackadaisical fighter. Do you resent that?
No, I don't. I always go by my record. I've had over 80 fights and over 40 knockouts. And most of the champions have been too scared to fight, so they can say what they wish. I still go by my record.
Had it ever crossed your mind that you were never going to get this shot, that it was all for nothing?
Well, at one time, 3 years ago, when I was number 1 contender for about 2.5 or 3 years, and Floyd Patterson was champion, it did cross my mind at that time. It kind of looked like I wasn't going to get a chance, but as I went along, picked back up some of my confidence that I would get a shot and got back serious at it again.
And now here it is, and this is the thing you've been dreaming about. Does it bother you? Do you think about it? Do you get emotional about it?
Well, I don't get too emotional about it now. At that time, I did get emotional about it, but like I said, the time is here now, and my dream has came true, and I'm ready for it now.
How many rooters have you got for yourself back there in Chandler, Arizona?
Well, out of my home, I got 9 with my wife. I have 8 kids, I think you know.
Yeah. And the eldest?
The oldest is 13 the other day, and he'll be here to see this fight.
How about that?
Light heavyweight heavyweight contender from Anaconda.
Here's Johnny Addy with the ring introductions.
Cowboy Roger Rouse. The Canadian heavyweight king, George Chavallo. Former lightweight champion of the world, and a good one, Ike Williams. Former welterweight champion of the world, Louis Rodriguez. Former featherweight champion, who is now chief inspector on the New York State Athletic Commission, Petey Scalzo. Still the WBA heavyweight king, Amy Terrell. Retired featherweight champion of the world, Sandy Sadler.
Hey, Johnny. Don't mention that Ellis won that fight, please.
Coming up as one of the leading contenders for heavyweight championship honors, Jimmy Ellis. Ladies and gentlemen, the next boxing show here, Friday night, March the 31st. The welterweight champion of the world will meet one of the sensational new welterweights from Philadelphia, a very exciting fighter, Gypsy Harris. And here is the welterweight king, Curtis Coates. Our tickets for this bout will be on sale tomorrow. Another date, ladies and gentlemen, Monday night, April the 17th. Emil Griffith will defend his middleweight crown against the European middleweight king, who has won 170 bouts out of 171. Nino Benvenuti, the European middleweight king, and Emil Griffith. Tickets will be on sale for that show also tomorrow. One of the great featherweight champs of all time, ladies and gentlemen, Willie Pepper. And the very popular former middleweight dynamic puncher, Rocky Graziano. Ladies and gentlemen, the Cinderella Man, former heavyweight king, James J. Braddock. We'd like to call up the lightweight champion of the world, Carlos Ortiz.
All the while these introductions were being made, Zora Folley was in the ring, but the champion, Muhammad Ali, was not here, and he has just come in and is entertaining.
One of the real greats, Sugar Ray Robinson. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here is one of the most active of all champions, middleweight king Emil Griffith.
There's Joe Louis coming in on the left.
Light heavyweight, former light heavyweight king, Jose Torres.
You can never tell in a heavyweight championship fight, but the fans are looking forward to a tough fight from Foley, and of course the flash and speed we've come to expect from Muhammad Ali.
Jose Torres.
Both of these beakers are filled with the same leading brand of motor oil, but to this one, we've added STP oil treatment, just as you would add it to the motor oil of your car. Now watch what happens when we immerse these metal plates into each beaker. Motor oil alone drains off. Motor oil with STP clings. This is exactly what happens when your car stands still for any length of time. Oil drains off engine parts, so when you start up again, bare metal rubs against bare metal. Engine wear starts, unless you have STP. STP takes over where oil leaves off. Its tough, slick film keeps engine surfaces coated. STP cuts down engine wear, and that's how it quiets noisy motors.
I'm Andy Granatelli. I use STP in my Novi race cars at the 500. And I use it in my personal car, too. I'm not looking for trouble. That's why I use STP.
We're just about ready to go here at Madison Square Garden. Muhammad Ali and Zora Folley scheduled for 15. As you see the windmill action getting ready in the left hand and upper left-hand corner of the screen, Muhammad Ali. In his corner is Luis Sarria, the Cuban bodybuilder, and Angie Dundee, his trainer, and Drew Bundini Brown, who's making his reappearance since the float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, and the disappearance of the championship belt, which came back. Here's the champion. Now, over in the corner, 202.5 pounds, Zora Folley and his entourage. Directly with his back to us, his manager, Bill Swift. In addition, in his corner will be P.D. Mack and John Hart, his regular trainer, Freddie Fierro, his pro tem trainer from New York, who will be in charge of the cuts if there are any.
Johnny. Here at Madison Square Garden, the large crowd is waiting in anticipation for this heavyweight championship fight between the champion Muhammad Ali, and you see him loosening up there, and over on the right-hand side, the challenger, the #1 contender for the crown, Zora Folley. I don't think there's anything quite like the electricity of a heavyweight championship fight in all the world of sports, and tonight's is no exception. The large crowd at Madison Square Garden is literally waiting for this big one to get underway. And we're all set on the world-famous ring announcer, Johnny Addy.
Main event, 15 rounds for the heavyweight championship of the world. Introducing the officials assigned by the New York State Athletic Commission. The judges, Frank Forbes, and the timekeeper, Fred Abatello. Counting for the knockdowns, Bonnie Smith. The referee for the main event, Johnny Lobianco. Introducing the principals. From Chandler, Arizona, wearing brown trunks, he weighs 202.5, the challenger, Zora Folley. His opponent from Houston, Texas. He's wearing white trunks. He weighs 211.5. The heavyweight champion of the world, Muhammad Ali. 15 rounds,
Foley, you're boxing for the World Heavyweight Championship. You were briefed on every one of our rules. The 3 knockdowns in any one round, the bout is automatically stopped. If you score a knockdown, go to a neutral corner. Do not come out until I call you. If you're in a down position and the bell rings, the count will continue with the exception of the last round. No holding and hitting. When you're in a clinch and I tell you to break, step back clean. Protect yourself at all times. Good luck to both of you. Shake hands.
Scoring here in New York on a rounds basis with a supplementary point system if the rounds come out even on an official's card. The gladiators are wearing 8-ounce gloves. Muhammad Ali, the white trunks. Zora Folley, the challenger, in the dark trunks. They are brown. Foley is a patient fighter, a good counterpuncher, and he gets in a light right hand there. Ali, the champion, figures to circle the ring at great speed until he's ready to carry the attack to his opponent. Now remember, especially in the early rounds, the 34-year-old Foley will be dangerous. Time could work against him. He's 9 years older than the champion. Foley knows everything about the manly art of self-defense, how to defend himself, how to attack, how to roll with punches, how to jab. He's got all the equipment. And of course, so has the champion. The champion has speed, great speed. 2 minutes left in round 1. And that's a little less majesty. The challenger showing no respect for the champion. Out of respect, probably, for Foley's punching power, the champion is keeping his gloves up higher than he usually does. He usually dangles them at his hips. Foley keeps cocking that right hand. That's his Sunday punch. Clay figures when he's ready to open up with a flurry. And he's got all the equipment too. Champion seemingly is going to get aggressive any moment. He's looking for the spot. And that was not a soft punch. Foley has brought the crowd up with those punches. Ten seconds left in round 1.
There is nothing harder in selling than selling a guy who sells for a living.
That's true.
I know all the techniques, all the right words to say. It's an art, believe me. It's an art, knowing how to sell.
Can I interest you in trying one of our new Chesterfield filters? It's a remarkably good-tasting cigarette.
That the whole pitch?
The whole pitch.
That's it?
Chesterfield is a remarkably good-tasting filter cigarette.
You're not going to promise me something? Some kind of benefit?
A remarkably good-tasting cigarette.
I'll tell you one thing, pal. You don't know how to sell.
Chesterfield now makes a remarkably good-tasting filter cigarette made from the heart of a Chesterfield king.
And you thought you were happy with the taste of your old cigarette?
I thought I was happy with the taste of my old cigarette.
Round 2 on the left, the champion Muhammad Ali, the white trunks, challenges Zora Folley in the brown. Foley showed no respect for the champion in the first round. and the champion did very little. Muhammad Ali is 6'3". Foley is just a little bit short of 6'1". Foley is 34 years old, the champion 25. Notice that quick right hand the challenger has. With that, he has scored 40 knockouts. And there's the first clinch of the fight. The referee, Johnny Lobianco, gets them apart. They both scored that time. Foley has been carrying the fight to the champion. And at the moment, the champion is treating this as though it were a gymnasium workout. This is very pretty, but it is not scoring any points for the champion. And should the fight go the limit, these early rounds count just as much as the later ones. Now Ali has dropped his gloves down. He is taking light lefts to the body, and they're not annoying him, apparently. 1 minute to go in round two. It's interesting that Foley can find the champion with those right hands, and he is, and they're not soft punches. Ten seconds to go in round two.
This is a more than one beer man. A man who's working on a thirst that one beer won't make a dent in. When this workout's over, he'll be good for a couple of beers, maybe more. That's why you can figure him for Schaefer. Schaefer's brewed for the second time around, and the third. Brewed with a quality of consistency that no other beer can match. Schaefer gives you flavor that never fades, pleasure that keeps coming on. Schaefer is brewed to go the distance for the more than one beer man.
Schaefer is the one beer to have when you're having more than one.
Ali, the gloves down at his side again, the white trunks. Challenges Zora Folley, watching his man go around him. Foley is a patient fighter. He rarely gets ruffled at anything his opponent does or at anything he himself does. He's patient. Ali's looking to get in there now with that famous flurry. He's also got to watch the countering right hand. Champion is putting on a show, but he's not bothering Foley, apparently. Two minutes left in this round. Johnny Lobianco, a very fine referee, is in there. Foley is getting those jabs into the body, too. Some of the crowd is yelling, stand still, Foley. Don't walk around and get tired. I guess Zora knows what to do. They have both had harder sessions in the gymnasium, but without the tension of the championship match. Notice how Foley can ride back with those punches, but now the champion's jab is getting in there. Ali got in his first good right hand that time. Flush on the jaw. Foley took it well. Round 3 of Madison Square Garden. The champion is now finding his opponent with jabs and is looking better. See how quick the champion's left hand is? 10 seconds to go in this round. Round 3.
In that round, the champion was part clown, part bicycle rider, but he still has that lithe speed, the spring in the legs. And it looks to me like he's assessed whatever Foley's attack is going to be. He started to throw the straight left jab, started to land, scored with the one good right hand. Foley still keeps probing with the left and trying to catch the elusive target with his right. And that would have been an even round, I would have said. Foley leads the fight 2-1, what fight there has been. Zora Folley's corner. Muhammad Ali here at Madison Square Garden as we await round 4. Don, the first 3 rounds. Looks like the champ is ready.
Round 4 in this heavyweight championship match. Muhammad Ali, the champion of all the world in the white trunks. Zora Folley, the challenger from Chandler, Arizona. Champion weighing 211.5. Foley, 202.5. Although there's little action, the crowd doesn't seem to mind. Champion Ali is always a show, no matter what he's doing. Foley is gradually cutting down the distance that Ali is away from him. He's trying to corner. Foley is trying to corner him little by little. See how well the challenger rolls back from those punches? And there's Foley down! 5, 6, 7, 8. Foley is up at 9. About a minute and 40 seconds left to go in the round, and Foley is back battling. They said Foley wouldn't be Tiger, but he is. This has turned into quite a fight, hasn't it? 1 minute to go in round 4. Foley bleeding from the nose. Foley's coming back from that knockdown, and he is scoring. One of the infrequent clinches. The punches that put Foley down came so fast, you could hardly see them. There's nothing wrong with Foley's courage, believe me. He's got plenty. 10 seconds to go in round 4.
Have you ever wondered why 2 out of 3 Indianapolis drivers protect their $50,000 racing engines with STP oil treatment? I'll show you why, right here and now. Screwdriver, motor oil. You'll notice I have no trouble whatsoever holding the screwdriver. Now watch closely while I coat it with STP oil treatment. You simply can't hold it. Try again. Now consider what happens when you add STP to your car's engine. Suddenly, pistons slide easily, the crankshaft and engine parts turn with less drag, friction and wear are reduced, and of course, noisy motors quiet down. When you buy your first can of STP oil treatment, try the screwdriver test yourself. I positively guarantee you it will work, or my name isn't Andy Granatelli.
Here it is, round 5. Champion looked up at the clock with a round sign as he came out here. Bill Swift, Johnny Hart, and Petey Mack are in the challengers' corner. Angelo Dundee, Louis Saria, and Drew Brown, better known as Bundini, are in the champions' corner. Round 5 at Madison Square Garden, scheduled for 15. Few expect it to go that far. Such an important match, the minutes go by very fast. About a minute gone so far in round 5. Foley, unlike many of Ali's opponents, is not afraid to throw that right hand. That's a grazing right. Neither bothers to do anything on the inside. Solid jab by the champ, but Foley put one in there, a couple. 1 minute left in round 5. Those are hard jabs by the champion. They're bound to take their toll. Look at them. Look at that get in there by Ali. Foley is not flinching, however. Those jabs are carrying this round for the champion. Ten seconds left in round 5.
Generally, we eat a piece of bread first to clear the palate.
So you can taste the wine better.
Well, not exactly. You see, the palate gets confused when you're tasting several wines.
So you don't smoke on the job?
Well, not over the wine, as we say, but the rest of the time I like a cigarette.
Would you like to taste one of these new Chesterfield filters? How would you describe the taste?
Suave, aristocratic, great finesse, yet beautifully balanced.
We call it a remarkably good-tasting filter cigarette.
Well, I think that's oversimplifying it.
Chesterfield now makes a remarkably good-tasting filter cigarette made from the heart of a Chesterfield king.
And you thought you were happy with the taste of your old cigarette?
I thought I was happy with the taste of my old cigarette.
Round 6 at Madison Square Garden. Challenges Zora Folley on the right, champion on the left. Foley was down for a 9 count. He took the count, listening to it in round 4. Went down from a combination, lightning punches. Other than that, he has given a good account of himself. A grazer. They're pretty close to each other now. That was a good punch by Foley. Foley has been bleeding intermittently from the nose. 2 minutes left in round 6. Foley had an opening for the right that time, but froze. Clay altering his style again, goes into motion. Champion Muhammad Ali putting that jab in again. Zora Folley the challenger. 1 minute to go in round 6. At this point, the champion Ali is just too fast for Foley. He missed.
In that round, the champion came out for the full minute and a half, the first half of that round, and just stood flat-footed there within range of Foley. And the two of them sort of measured one another, and the champion depended upon his bobbing and weaving and his shoulder twitching to get his head out of range, and Foley was unable to score. And then, almost like a signal, as the round had gone its halfway, a minute and a half, he went up on the balls of his feet and started a dance. And when he does that, circling around left and right, pinking with that left jab, Foley is just not with the champion. When he fights that fight, it's his fight. So now we're looking at the scene here at Madison Square Garden as we anticipate round 7. There is the warning buzzer on the left in the white, Muhammad Ali. On the right in the brown trunks sits Zora Folley.
Don Dunphy ringside in this heavyweight championship match. Muhammad Ali, the champion, the white trunks, challenges Zora Folley in brown. In case you joined us late, Foley was down from a combination in the fourth round, took the count listening to it, and got up and has fought fairly well since. In the last round or so, the champion Speed has been turning the fight his way. And now he is moving in, which has been unusual for him in this fight. That was a blocked punch, and Foley rolled with them. 2 minutes to go in round 7. A solid punch by the challenger, who of course is the sentimental favorite with the crowd. We talked about Foley's courage. The champion has plenty himself. There's no question about that. That's Foley down from that right hand. I don't know if he's going to make this one. 6, 7, 8. He's not. Oh, he gamely tried to get up. And Muhammad Ali has retained his heavyweight championship of the world. After about 1 minute and 55 seconds of the 7th round, Foley tried gamely. He gave the champion the best battle of the champion's career. That is, since he has been champion. And here's Johnny Addy with the announcement.
The time, 1 minute and 48 seconds of the 7th round. The winner by a knockout, and still heavyweight champion of the world, Muhammad Ali.
We'll be back to ringside in just a moment.
Both of these beakers are filled with the same leading brand of motor oil. But to this one, we've added STP oil treatment, just as you would add it to the motor oil of your car. Now watch what happens when we immerse these metal plates into each beaker. Motor oil alone drains off. Motor oil with STP clings. This is exactly what happens when your car stands still for any length of time. Oil drains off engine parts, so when you start up again, bare metal rubs against bare metal. Engine wear starts, unless you have STP. STP takes over where oil leaves off. Its tough, slick film keeps engine surfaces coated. STP cuts down engine wear, and that's how it quiets noisy motors.
I'm Andy Granatelli. I use STP in my Novi race cars at the 500. And I use it in my personal car, too. I'm not looking for trouble. That's why I use STP.
Now let's go to the center of the ring and Don Dunphy.
We're going to try to get the champion of the world, Muhammad Ali, who successfully defended his heavyweight championship with a knockout. One of the photographers thinks I'm in his way. A knockout of Zora Folley in the 7th round here at Madison Square Garden. Champion, Muhammad. Here's the champion of the world, Muhammad Ali. And I think they're expecting a smile from the heavyweight champion. You look as though you're unhappy.
No, I'm not unhappy. I'm happy. I'm smiling. First of all, I would like to say Assalamu alaikum to our dear beloved leading teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I'm feeling real fine tonight. I thank him for his blessings and prayers.
Now let's talk about the fight. How about the early rounds? Did Foley bother you?
Well, Foley bothered me for a while. He was smart. He was taking his time. He was stalking. But after a few rounds, he started tiring, and I caught him with a right-hand lead.
Did he hurt you at any time?
Well, a few body punches shook me a little, but not enough to really keep me hurt because he didn't follow me up. He wasn't really fast enough.
Now, I was telling the folks that the knockdown you scored in the 4th round came with such lightning speed you could hardly see the punches. It was a 1-2, wasn't it?
Yes, I think it was. I would have to see a
rerun
to really see it.
You caught him flush.
Yes.
And down he went. Now about the 7th round knockdown and knockout. I'm sure you remember that a little bit more.
Well, I hit him with a right-hand lead that shook him up, and then I caught him with another right-hand lead. But I have to say he's a decent man. He hit me with a couple of low jabs, but he apologized for it, and it was a beautiful fight.
I thought it was one of the most interesting fights you've had since you won the title in your defenses.
Well, yes, I was. My manager, Herbert Muhammad here, was telling me that he noticed that I was a little flat-footed in this fight because I usually do a lot of dancing, but I couldn't. I was explaining to him where I couldn't really dance too much with this fella because he stayed still. He waited for me, and I had to slow down to tag him to keep up with his pace.
Now, after about the 5th or 6th round, Herbert came up and whispered something to you. What did he say in between rounds?
He told me not to play, and I told him I wasn't. He said, well, it looked like you're playing with the man. We're not here to play with the man. Knock him out. Well, I just told him that it may have looked like I was playing, but I was just feeling him out. It's a lot easier standing outside looking in, but I did catch up with him later.
Well, now, what about the future? What about the other contenders for your heavyweight title?
Well, it's all up to my manager, Herbert. I'll let him answer that.
Herbert?
What about the next? What
about the next?
Well, we don't know right now.
Off with the old, on with the new.
Well, right now, we have a lot of offers, but we have to wait and see and talk it over with him.
You have other things to consider.
Right.
I know there's been talk of possibly Bonavena over in Tokyo, and that's a possibility for sometime in April.
They have the Japanese promoter here, Mr. Jin. He flew over here just to see the fight, and he's here. And we'll talk with him tomorrow, and we'll see if we can sign contracts. I already signed tentative contract for May the 27th in Tokyo. But there's a lot of things that involve whether or not we make that fight or not.
Well, now, I don't want to hurt the gate for any future fight, Herbert and Muhammad, but I just got to say, you're just too darn fast for any of these heavyweights around.
I like the public and the world out here to meet my father. This is the father of the world heavyweight champion, and there you are.
How are you, Mr. Clay?
To all the fans in Louisville. You're now on television.
Andy Cameron.
What do you think of your boy?
He's the greatest I've ever seen.
He is.
I've seen a many a fighter. He's the fastest, most accurate.
Did you ever see Dempsey or Lewis?
No, I never see Dempsey.
Marciano?
I never see any of the fighters, but I heard of the fighter. Heard him. You know, we watch him on the television, on the radio. You know.
I'd like to see Muhammad with one of them at their prime. I think we could
I would say he's the greatest of all time.
That's a good opinion.
Thank you, man.
You
As
think
you
so,
see,
well, I'm saying because my son. But I know what I'm talking about.
I'd also like to say hello to my home is now Houston, Texas.
Yes,
and
I
I'd
know.
like to say hello to all of my friends there. The soul brother Skipper Lee and Wildman and all the fans there in Houston.
You know, Champ, Mrs. Foley.
I'd like to also say hello to my friend. I wish him luck in his campaign, Dick Gregory.
Oh, no politics there. We'll have to give
just my friend.
We'll have to give equal time to the opposition if you do that.
He's just my friend.
You know, I think it'd be nice if we said something to Mrs. Foley out there in Chandler. She must be quite disappointed.
I'd like to say to her that her husband is a decent, honorable man. I checked him after the fight. He's all right. He's not seriously hurt in no way. He was just a little shook up, but he's all right. And I'd like to say hello to all of her children and for be proud of their father.
Very nice.
Because he's the best scientific boxer I've ever met. And if I'd met him 10 years ago, I know that I would have had a lot of trouble.
Champ, I think we're going to replay the 7th round now if you'd like to take a look at it. Here it is.
You're going with Georgetown. Are you in the line? You're going with Georgetown.
Don't mind it. Here we are coming out for the 7th round now. Try to watch this. Do you want to tell us what's happening, Muhammad?
Well, right now I'm just stalking him and watching him. He's flat-footed. He looks slow. As you know, he leans back when I hit at him. That's my style, leaning back, and it's hard to hit a man when he leans back. And he's real tricky. I realized that I did have 15 rounds to figure him out, and there I just caught him with a right chop. Dazed him a little, but he's awful tricky, and he's mostly jabbing and shooting left and rights at my body. He wasn't going too much for the head.
How do you tell the effect of a punch on an opponent?
Well, I'll watch his eyes the second I hit him, and usually he's in a trance or a little dazed.
Now he's still carrying the fight, do you hear?
Yes, as you know, Don, this is the 7th title fight in 13 months, which is the same as Joe Louis. I've had a lot of 15-round fights during the title, and I'm really a little tired. And a lot of other pressures on me. And it looked like we had a sellout crowd here tonight, and I was glad of that. But Foley's just taking his time, waiting, and I'm waiting. But I usually rely on my man getting tired, because heavyweights usually are tired after following me for about 4 rounds.
Well, we're almost ready for it, aren't we?
Yeah, I imagine so. I'm just watching. That was a beautiful right hand that caught him.
And I don't think there's any doubt that he's not going to get up in time.
Right, he
tries.
Almost made it, but he stumbled. He's a real gentleman.
That's it. He failed to beat the count. He wanted to fight, and I thought that's a good referee, that Johnny Lobianco.
Yes, he was really finished, and it wouldn't have been too wise, because serious damage could have taken too much shock.
Now there we have the fighters are never mad at each other when the fight's over.
Right. And he and I never were mad. He's a real gentleman. He didn't start no controversial issues, and everything was nice. And he told me I was a good fighter, and I was telling him that if it was 10 years ago, I think he would have gave me a lot more trouble. As a matter of fact,
the winner by a knockout, and still heavyweight champion of the world, Muhammad Ali.
Your career.
Thank you very much, Doc.
Good luck, Sam. Bye now.
Hey, have you seen Schaefer's new no-deposit party bottle? Here it is. Beautiful, isn't it? It has a unique new tapered shape and a great new twist cap. One quick twist, and it's open. And here's the best part. Inside every Schaefer party bottle is the life of the party. Bright, rewarding Schaefer beer. Schaefer's brewed to give you flavor that comes through loud and clear. First glass to last. So next time you have a party, get Schaefer in new no-deposit party bottles.
Schaefer is the one beer to have when you're having more than one.
Up in the ring with me right now is Angelo Dundee, who needs no introduction to the fans. Look at the camera up there, Angelo. Let them see you again. You've been in with so many champions, not to mention the heavyweight champion of the world, Muhammad Ali. Tell us your opinion of this fight tonight as it went.
Well, it was the usual pattern he fights. He wanted to figure what this fella had. He wanted to see the mistakes he made, and he played it cool. I got a little leery in there because he got hit with a real good left hook in the belly around the 5th round. And he did get nailed the right-hand shot, but it was wide of the mark, thank heaven. But I got to give Foley a lot of credit. I don't think he's going to get up after that 4th round knockdown, because it was a beautiful right hand. He got nailed.
It didn't look that way, did it?
But he came up and he kept pitching, and he kept trying in there. I got to give him a lot of credit for that.
Well, what do you think of the future now? Has he run out of opponents?
I don't think so. Somebody always comes along, and they always say somebody in a woodpile can lick you. I hope that woodpile is pretty high.
Well, right now, Joe Frazier of Philadelphia is undefeated, the Olympic champion. He's undefeated as a professional. Had a big knockout over Doug Jones recently, and he's knocked out Eddie Machen. How does he look to you?
Well, he looks like a good contender, but a lot of people are forgetting a fellow over in England that just fought by the name of Eduardo Corletti. He's an excellent fighter. Nobody's talking
He's
about him.
He's also got a decision over
He's got
Chevalo.
a Chevalo. He stopped Walker. He's an excellent piece of talent. And there's fighters coming around. I like Joe Frazier. I like Corletti for the future. I think Chevalo deserves another shot. I think we're wide open for opponents.
Oh, that's wonderful, Louis. Keep the game active, Angelo. What else? You've had fine champions. You had Willie Pastrana, Luis Rodriguez. What about Rodriguez?
Well, Rodriguez is fine. He just licked Benny Briscoe last night, so
that's a good win for him.
He's in pretty good shape, and I think you gentlemen saw my other prospect, Jimmy Ellis, unleash something tonight. Right.
Well, we're going to take a look at that Pearsall Ellis fight in a few moments, Angelo. So we'll keep the folks in suspense about who won the fight.
Great.
I will tell them at this time that it only went one round, but we won't tell them who won. Well, I don't think you know either, because you were in the
I didn't see it. I was
you were in the dressing room.
I'm anxious to see it myself.
You know, coming back to the championship fight, it was my opinion that aside from the champion's speed, that his left jab started to soften up Foley.
Oh, definitely. I said before the fight, when his left hand started cooking on Foley, goodbye Foley. Because this fella's left hand is fabulous. He makes a lot of openings with it and sets the pace with it. I tell you, that snow was pretty rough on us here, Don.
You didn't get the road work.
I miss Miami badly, and I'm going to run like a thief tomorrow and get back onto the wife and kids.
We had a fine crowd here at the Garden, but unfortunately, some of the out-of-towners who were scheduled to come in begged off. And Angela, we'll be right back here in just a moment.
Thank you, Don.
Are we?
It's coming up after this commercial. Yeah, do a lead-in.
Sort of run out of them, I would think, at this point, although some faraway promoter is probably damning us with faint praise for saying that.
Well, Chris, the older brother of Angie, told me this morning that Angie's phone is ringing morning, evening, and night with guys from Patagonia, down, up, and under, all with challengers, all who want a piece of Muhammad Ali's action. Not that they think they can beat him, but they know that this man is magic and he will draw.
Well, there isn't any question about that, and as he himself says, he is the champion of all the world when, and he fights in places that other champions wouldn't even consider years ago. I'd like to repeat for those who may have tuned in late, the knockout was 147 of the 7th round. It's been a pleasure for RKO General and Madison Square Garden Sports Presentations to bring you this World Heavyweight Championship fight. This is Don Dunphy and Win Elliott wishing you good night